so we have it.
Sure.
First off, it's an honor to meet you. I can say that because you've been cheersing my cheers all week, so I feel like it's an honor to meet the man that cheers my cheers.
I'm a pretty cheerful guy. Yeah, I think it's kind of fun to be working on a project that is aligned with your character. I don't actually cheer anything that I don't believe in, so I was almost coming over to have them ribs yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I was getting quite a bit of email updates for various cheers, and just during the Super Bowl alone, seeing what everybody else was cooking or what everybody else had, I was blown away. Right. I thought we had good food, but there was a lot of other good food out there apparently.
It's an interesting thing where there's only about 150 people active on the platform right now, and in the private beta, and there's so much activity going on. It's so interesting, and people aren't even allowed to invite their friends in yet. So it's kind of interesting that there's this much interaction and activity going on before launch, the official launch. So it's strange.
Just out of curiosity, why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because we all know that we're in the private beta and we're trying to play around with it and have fun with it? Or do you think that really people are socially excited and adapted to it?
I think it's the latter, actually. I think that there's something going on there that is I think people want to. Cheers lowers the barrier to self-expression in a public way, and so I even find myself cheering. I never really posted that much to Facebook or whatnot, but in an appreciative stance, like the idea of cheering something, it becomes a very easy. It's a very low barrier to expressing myself. And when I do it, I get reinforced by people who enjoy whatever the heck it is that I've cheered, and that encourages me to do more. And that's one of the most encouraging things about it that we've seen so far. People seem like everybody wants to reveal the love inside. There's a lot of love inside people, and we're usually forced to look at the world through the media's eyes, and the media is always trying to sensationalize the negative because they're trying to grab your attention with, bomb, destruction, terror, mayhem, rape, pillage. These are life-threatening things that you want to grab people's attention with. But the reality is that there's a lot of good going on as well. And I think people have that inside them and they want to just let it go, let it out. And as they let it out, other people feel great about it and they let theirs out. And it's a kind of a love fest. It's kind of cool.
Well, it's a great name because, if you think of the meaning behind cheersing something, usually it's in a celebratory way. Right. Everyone's excited, cheers to this, cheers to that. So the name, I think, goes right along with it. And for me, using the app thus far, I guess that's kind of the way I look at it is, like you said, the self-expression. It is exciting to say, cheers to this, cheers to Cheers app, or cheers to the Super Bowl, something that you're excited about and are passionate about.
Right. It feels good. And the best part of it is that as you're doing it, you kind of giving people license. So whether you cheer something very broad that is sort of obvious, like some people are cheering love, or generosity or something grand like that.
Right.
Still, that's something that you look at people and say, well, that's a nice guy. Somebody cheering love. It may not be the most interesting thing. Or there's some people cheering very unique things, like the silly things kids do, or whatever, something very niche that you might, the movie Amélie.
Yeah.
What Amélie is very interesting is that she is a person who is cheering interesting stuff. Like she has that gnome that travels around the world and she looks at the world in a weird way. Cheers lets you kind of let that stuff out. And you know that movie American Beauty?
Yeah.
Of course, right? Everybody knows one scene out of the American Beauty is the plastic bag doing a dance, right? The plastic bag doing a dance is the director cheering something that you've seen a million times. Well, he's not calling it a cheer, he's just putting it in his movie. But once you see the world that way, that thing is doing a dance, like, you don't look at plastic bags the same way. And I think there's a little quality of that in that, wow, I'm allowed to cheer this? Somebody is. This is a Cheers platform. Okay, so I'm going to cheer this, and something else that they find uniquely interesting. And what I've been actually surprised by, because, I've been involved with a bunch of startups, and I never really use my own products, honestly. So I've been surprised by how interesting I find Cheers as a browser, even looking at other people's stuff. It's kind of weird.
That just changed my entire perspective for the day. Everything I look at, I'm going to be like, I think I can cheers to that. That's a pretty beautiful moment right there. I think I can cheers to that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the idea was. That there's a lot of love around us. We're surrounded by it, and if we if we kind of let people do the talking and let people do the expressing instead of institutions and their agendas, which the agenda is very simple in a mass media type environment. Make people feel insecure and fearful, and then sell them something. Whether it's a pimple cream or a war, it's the same formula. It's just you make them feel insecure, and then you make them fearful about something, and then you stick it to them. With some type of commerce. Friends don't do that with each other. And friend media is kind of quite the opposite. The reason you're friends with people is that you share a lot of positive things together, and so. We're hoping that Cheers becomes kind of like friend media, where people are noticing all the cool stuff around them, all the useful stuff around them, the people who deserve love, the places that should get some business, and cheer those things and have that information flowing and have it be uniformly positive. Kind of like Instagram does for photos.
Right.
You don't if you saw like 5 severed heads in your Instagram feed. Instagram would suddenly change into something else. Like you suddenly wouldn't be as excited to look at it, and that's kind of what my Facebook news feed has become like. It's like 2 or 3 interesting things, 3 or 4, totally banal, like useless things. Like I got up today and wiped my ass. Okay, great, good for you. And then there's like 2 or 3 totally like terrible things, like riot here, severed head there, whatever is happening there, and it's almost like I have to be prepared for all of it every time I want to kind of read the news feed. But with Cheers, I'm not worried about that. At best, they're sort of like these. They're sort of fun things that are sort of world peace like, like, okay, so cheers to world peace, great, but that's the worst of it, and the best of it is these really interesting ones that reveal something so amazing. Like, I cheers our home birth, our midwife, and I just did it because I thought she did such a great job coaching my wife and I through something that a lot of people could do but don't do, in general. And I was surprised that a former VP of Shopzilla that had come into the beta commented that he had 2 home births with the same midwife, And
wow.
This is a guy I know, but like we don't stay in touch like that to know, like how I would have never known this about Gary, And suddenly we have a positive point of bonding around home birth that I would have never thought of. And then our interior designer said, I pulled her into the beta because I wanted different kinds of people kind of taking a look at this. Right. She said that our midwife taught her birth classes too. She had a hospital birth, but still, it was like an amazing thing. Like I would never have discussed this with my interior designer. Yeah. It would have never come up. So the idea is that when you reveal parts of yourself with Cheers, it seems like others can come and connect, and whenever they connect, it's on a positive point, right? So you're finding positive points of connection with people who are around you, and that's always a good thing. The more connections we have to each other, the better we feel, just fundamentally. Happier we are.
I mean, just like I said, myself being, in the private beta right now, it's exciting, the emotional connection that I've been able to connect with people I don't know. I mean, with Instagram, one's a private beta and one's really open, but with Instagram, it's like you post a picture, it's more intimate with your friends and family who you're connected with, versus on Cheers, I have all kinds of people I don't even know that are cheersing back to me and celebrating and supporting something that, I find exciting and interesting. So
yeah, it's cool. So I hope we'll see what happens as we open it up and people bring their friends and families in. Will they be more insular because of that, or will it it's kind of probably partially our design as well. How we allow content to kind of be discovered beyond your friends and family kind of circles, the people you're following. Right. So I think there's a little bit of extra discovery right now happening because you run out of the people you're following. So you go into the Discover tab and you start looking or the Popular tab and you start looking around and seeing other people's stuff. Right. But because there's so many so much positive stuff going on there. I think that's going to be a pretty the popular tab is going to be popular, and so the people are going to be using it to see other people's stuff. So we'll see what happens as it goes along. But it's kind of exciting so far.
Well, good name for that tab, for the podcast tab. Good name choice. I guess a quick question for you. After playing with the app, is there going to be a web interface for it? Am I going to be able to go to the website, cheers.rs, and actually see a social community behind it, or is it going to be completely app based like it is right now?
That's a good question. We're going to start off by putting profile pages on the web because we've already seen people asking for that, and we think that there's also a lot of cheers that are happening that are about things that aren't in your immediate vicinity. So people are cheering a TV show or something, and so right now the app is quite it's not set up to help you take a picture from the web and put it into your picture. So what you have to do is you have to go to Safari, you have to find the picture you want, you have to save that picture into your camera roll, then you have to come back, open the cheer, take from camera roll, go. It's like, so the first things we need to do, I think, are to smooth out the app experience so that you can do everything on the app. I think there's something good about the app that we're seeing is that I think it's like I don't know how to put this in a romantic way. I'll say it's a bathroom app. so I think what we're seeing is that we wanted it to be mobile so that, you could cheer anything, anytime, anywhere, right? So like the phone is with you.
Right.
What we're finding is that people are like, they're doing a string of activity all in a row, which tells me what's happening is when you have some downtime, you flip open Cheers. It's a fun place to kind of hang out for a couple of minutes, and as you're doing it, you're kind of browsing and clicking. So I think there's a lot to be explored there still. Whereas when you're in front of your computer or whatever else, you may be in a different mindset. But that said, all of it's in the works. So we definitely have to have an Android version as well. We definitely have to have a web version. It's step by step. So coming, but not. I wouldn't say tomorrow afternoon we'll have a web version out.
I'd be curious personally just to see, how that activity switches when you guys go public, because right now, you said there's only about 150 of us. So, it's kind of us playing around, seeing what the application is about, supporting yourself and the rest of the team. However, I'm curious to see what happens when the public comes in, if that activity gets a little bit more leveled out throughout a day versus, just a downtime experience is what you guys are seeing right now.
It's a good question. We're curious about that as well. I can't say that compared to other things that we had in private beta prior to this, we had a couple of other apps that we worked on our websites. The level of activity is just astounding. Like it's about the middle of December, I guess, when we launched. So it's about going on 3 months, the middle of December to the middle of January. It's about 2 months of time. Mm-hmm. There's something on order of middle of November, I think it must have been. It's about 2.5 months to 3 months of time that's been going by. We've had 300,000 push notifications sent and from people. And at the beginning, there weren't that many people in the beta. There were like 30 people in the beta. So if you average it out, like 100 people or something over the three months, 300,000 push notifications sent out for activities. It's just absurd amount of activity that's going on. And the last 5 days, 70,000 push messages. So it's just crazy what's happening, we've had to tone down the updates, the notifications, and I think we're going to have to tone them down some more as well if this activity level keeps up. Because we have had some people saying that, wow, there's too much activity going on in Cheers. So, it's always an iterative game. You never know what to expect. So far, at least, it seems like it's striking a chord with the people who are using it, and some of these people are my friends and whatever, so they've been in different betas that we've run, and honestly, they haven't, they just haven't been I don't think they're doing me a favor here by working on Cheers, because if they were doing that, they would have been doing the same thing on Gripe and on Dot Spots and on other stuff that we were doing before, and they weren't doing that. So there's got to be something more than just the beta thing. But we'll see. We'll see in a couple of days.
Well,
we launch on the 9th. So.
And speaking of the launch on the 9th, are we going to see any kind of major updates or any upgrades as beta users? Or is it going to be kind of, are people expecting to see what I see right now?
Yeah, you as a beta user, you'll get, there's going to be one upgrade, and there's going to be some stability things and some other things, but basically you're playing with the app that everyone's going to see. The major difference that will happen is that you'll be able to invite your friends, and I think we're going to let all the beta users know that they can invite their friends maybe a little earlier than everybody else, so they get a jump on pulling in their set of friends into the app. So that's going to be the main thing, but we're iterating very fast. One of the things that we're a continuous development shop, so we're continuously. We have something right now. We have something like 5 or 7 releases a day that are happening into live, and I think that that'll keep going. So we have a whole bunch of features and things that we have queued up that we need to get in there, but just didn't have the time to do it. And everybody says that if you release release an app and you're happy with where it's at, then you release too late. So we certainly aren't happy with where the app is at right now. Although we're happy with the activity happening in it, we have so many things that we want to still roll into it that we haven't had time to, and we just thought, it's time to just get it out there and see what happens. So.
Well, it's very true, that statement, sadly, but it definitely makes sense once you launch your first app and you have that disappointment, but see potential gains versus launching something that you're very excited with and seeing no gains. It's an entertaining story that you learn from very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, great. Is there anything else you'd like to add for today? I mean, that's you pretty much ran through every question that I had. So.
I think if sort of to place Cheers sort of where I think it needs sort of that, just as encapsulate where it needs to go. I think that we have a lot of my career and a lot of stuff that has been related to stuff, a lot of, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's a lot of apps that are at the first 3 rungs. The first 3 rungs being basic survival, food, shelter, etc. The next one is being security, sort of making sure you're okay. The third rung being family and friends, so connecting with people. This Cheers is an app actually on the 4th rung. It's really about esteem, which is a higher level need. Once you have these other things, once you have friends and food and shelter and security, you feel good. That more stuff won't help you anymore. Right. It's now what you need is respect of others and respect for yourself. And I think one of the best ways to kind of do that is through showing love and appreciation. So appreciating the things you have around you is the surest key to unlocking other people's love and respect for you, as well as you appreciate the things you have, you realize, wow, I have so much, and you sort of start getting higher self-esteem about where you are and how happy you should be, and you kind of move up that scale. So my sense of it is there's a lot of stuff that's happening that's really at the lower levels of Maslow's scale, but I think we've kind of covered those in the Western world. Really, we're past those. Now what we need are the things higher up towards sort of the highest point being actualization and whatnot. But so I think there's going to be a big market for things that are like that, because there's just a deep need to go beyond just the sort of material level. And I think on that level we're sort of Cheers is set up to do kind of cool things there. So it's fun to be working on it. I'm excited to have a company called Cheerful Inc. I couldn't believe Cheerful Inc. is still available. What the hell are people thinking?
I would say, yeah, that's
because I went and
that's quite an incorporation name to have.
Cheerful Incorporated, man. And this is, of course, the coolest logo on the planet.
Oh, beautiful.
Cheers. So I'll send you a sticker if you want.
Well, thank you very much. I would love one. Well, again, thank you very much for taking time today to do an interview this morning. Again, thank you, and I look forward to the launch on Wednesday. Wait, Wednesday? Yeah.
I think it's Thursday, actually.
Thursday, yeah.
That's it. It's the 9th, yeah.
Yep. So I look forward
Assuming
to
Apple approves our app.
I would say, yeah. As long as Apple decides not to, become Apple and throw down the iron fist or anything.
Exactly.
So I wish you luck in the launch, and I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. But have a great rest of the day, and thank you very much again.
Yeah, and I'll see you on Cheers. Cheers to what you love.
Yeah.
Take care.
Talk to you soon. See ya.
Bye-bye.